Constantly rebalancing as we do at the end of every 30-day cycle. We look at our positions, not just in Bitcoin and crypto, but across the portfolio. Fixed income has been as challenging as stocks. They've gone down just as much in the last 18 months. So it's been a very difficult time for every asset class. Regarding Bitcoin, though, our own operating procedure, we can't own more than 5% of the operating fund in Bitcoin. So we also have positions in ETH and Solana and all kinds of other, we're just looking at putting a position on in Pollen and Helium, which are really eclectic projects around decentralizing telco. But the whole point of this is that you just simply don't know when these asset classes are going to move. I have a personal speculation around regulation. I talked about that earlier, that if the Stablecoin Act gets put into law, that will be a signal that all crypto will be regulated at some point. Some people feel good about regulation, others don't. But here's a fact to consider regardless of your position. Most of the sovereign wealth funds that I work for as an indexer have zero position in crypto of any kind. When you ask them if they're going to buy anything, they want the granddaddy, which is Bitcoin. They're willing to put 50 basis points to 1% into Bitcoin when their compliance departments allow them to. And that won't happen until the SEC rules on it as a commodity or a security. And the reason they can't is that these sovereign wealth funds, I don't care if you're Norway or you're UAE or you're Saudi, the majority of their money is put into the S&P. It's the only market that can absorb $1 billion in one trade without moving the market. And that goes in around 10:05 every morning when these sovereign wealths take their 250 million that they make in oil each day out of New York. These transactions, remember, oil is transacted in US dollars, and they put it into an index of the S&P X oil, X airlines, because they own their own airlines and they have enough oil, obviously. But the reason they won't buy Bitcoin is they can't go uncompliant with the SEC. That's the number one depository for their capital. So until the SEC makes a ruling on what Bitcoin is, they won't participate. Now here's the upside. 50 basis points in the sovereign wealth and pension world is $1 trillion of buying. So you have to be voting and cheering on regulation. You put $1 trillion into Bitcoin, that's when you might see it at $60,000 to $100,000 valuation. And those funds don't care. Once they index it, they're the automatic bid when it dips below the 50 basis points or 1% they've decided to own, and they sell into strength. So there's a really, really liquid market about to happen. That's very optimistic for Bitcoin, not pessimistic. I really don't understand when people say, oh, I hate regulation and decentralized asset. You want regulation because that's where the money is.